This is Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. Blog comments, response to dead pets. Erica, 9/11. Deciding who gets custody of mutual friends when a marriage ends can be tricky. It's been my experience that friends tend to side with the spouse who they feel was wronged, cheated on, abandoned, etc. That is the easy way to go, but many times in reality what was truly going on behind closed doors of a marriage may paint a different picture of whom was really the bad guy. The spouse who walked out the door is assumed to have done such a terrible thing, when in reality they were simply the brave one to leave something that wasn't working. In my own friendships that have been split by divorce, I've usually tried to maintain my neutrality and stayed friends with both people, but many times one of them won't allow me to stay friends with the ex-spouse and pretty much indicated if I do, so we can't remain friends with them. Often when all is said and done, I've ended up remaining friends with neither and losing touch with both. I'm guessing your situation, you're viewed as the bad guy, and I imagine that your relocation probably didn't help things either. I can relate to the heartache you feel with these lost relationships, and I can tell you from my own experience, the opposite end of your situation, that with many of those relationships, the feelings of loss are probably mutual. Even if you were initially viewed as the bad guy, time heals, and enough time has gone by that I'm sure many of the negative feelings have gone. Mostly good feelings and memories remain with a lot of those folks. I'm pleased if I've had any impact or been part of your passing milestone. Post. An aha moment stands the test of time. Erica, 910. You've explained your reasons very well and in great detail. While I don't understand why you feel as strongly as you do about this or necessarily agree with your policy, I have to respect it. Post. Leo, you're out of your league. Erica, 99. Tom, you had to know this post was coming. Your recent post regarding phone calls with your ex-mother-in-law and brother-in-law reminded me of why I make it a daily habit to read your blog. Your unusual relationships and way of relating to others fascinates me. Here are my thoughts on your recent post. Not that you or anyone has asked for them, but since you put these in a public forum, it seems to make them fair game for comments and questions. 1. Why are you so vehemently opposed to speaking to your ex-wife? Obviously, most people don't particularly enjoy speaking to an ex-spouse, and given the choice, would probably prefer not to do so. Although I could be wrong, I'm guessing that your ex-wife's purpose in calling was not a social call. After all the details you have shared here, I highly doubt that she called just to say hello or to see how you've enjoyed your recent Florida vacation. I'm guessing that it had something to do with either your children or possibly your delinquent financial commitments, which you have previously mentioned. If the call was regarding these situations or something similar, I think you owe her the courtesy of at least a small amount of your time. Once two people have created a human life together, there will probably always be the need for some interaction, even if these humans grow nearly grown in such a case of a son and a daughter. I see awkward interactions all the time between exes and numerous events my own children are involved in. Exes exchanging details about picking up and dropping off kids and other various housekeeping type details. I'm sure that these people would probably prefer to bang their heads against the wall rather than to have these interactions, but they are necessary. I know you live far from your children, but I imagine there are still things involving them that would require some conversation with your ex. So I'm curious, what's the big deal? Take her call, address the issue at hand, and move on. 2, why on earth are you calling her mother and brother to involve them in this? As unhappy as you appear to be about being contacted by your ex-wife, I can only imagine them being equally unhappy to hear from you, and would expect them to react with some displeasure, if not outright hostility. Why do you expect them to intervene on your behalf and communicate with your ex-wife? I received such a call, I would tell the caller that I am not my daughter or sister's keeper, and kindly leave me out of it. 3, why did you call your ex-mother-in-law only to tell her you didn't have time for a lengthy phone call? I imagine that such an awkward call would be best dealt with at all once not carried over into another day. If this was uncomfortable with your wife present, why not just take a phone and go outside? 4, I'm glad to hear that you have set a self-imposed deadline, even if it's 6 or months away, to put the family reunion debacle behind you. It's natural to feel betrayed and upset as you do, but in continuing to agonize over and think about it isn't good either. Do yourself, your family a favor and move on. 5, your description of having fun at your ex-father-in-law's expense is exactly why I'm fascinated about what makes you tick. Most people would have no interest in being on the receiving end of such abuse, and yet you seem to revel in it. All I know is that when the movie Doody, His Life and Times hits the theater, I'll be first in line. Post, I have no plans to be secretive. Erica, 9-3. Tom, if you really want to reestablish contact with your brother, I think you should try a less public forum, something like a good old-fashioned phone call or letter. This is such a way you won't be able to jump on it before anyone ever sees it. I think your brother is obviously more of a private person, and you have been willing to communicate if he didn't feel that the whole conversation would be posted online. This situation really backs to my previous comments of how I would be mortified if such personal details of my life and relationships were made public. I think your brother feels the same way. Post, I flipped over NC, adam.strum, 831. Congratulations. This has been Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, a restful night's sleep. Ciao.